There's seasonality to market sentiment. And what we can teach you is how to read that as clear as like summer and winter. And in fact, what I talk about here, this is really the difference between what retail investors do, like you and me, versus what the institutions do. All right, hello and welcome. What we're going to talk about here is how professionals, how money managers, how institutions make money with assets such as Bitcoin. And in fact, what I talk about here, this is really the difference between what retail investors do versus what the institutions do. They make up about 80% of the financial markets. Individuals, even though there's many, many more of us, only make up about 20% of the money in. So the movements they're making usually come at our expense. So what you want to do is shift your mindset, and instead of operating like an individual amateur investor, you want to operate like a financial professional. The core principle here is when people are wanting to sell, when they're panicking, they want to get out of something, that's when you want to be the buyer, when people are running away from it. On the flip side of that is, when do you sell? You want to sell it when people are buying. So when everybody wants it, when people can't get enough, when it's the hot item to have. In real estate, this happens all the time. So people panic sell out of their houses. That happened in like 2008. If you bought then, your house is worth a fortune compared to what you bought it for at that time. This happens with even electronics markets. So you can think like GPUs. Those got very in demand, especially around COVID. Prices absolutely skyrocketed. They're in demand because people were stuck at home, because there was crypto mining, all sorts of different reasons were creating all this demand, and people wanted them. Prices absolutely skyrocketed. If you had a GPU to sell at that time, even if it was like 5 years old, you could probably sell it for more than it was worth. And maybe another example I can give is something very simple and relatable day to day, which are bikes. So if you have a bike and you want to sell it, oftentimes that's going to be around winter time. You just got done with it for the summer. You're like, I don't want to store this thing. I didn't really ride it as much as I thought I would. I don't need it anymore. Let me sell it. And you and a bunch of other people are selling your bikes at winter. And there's not many buyers. Not many people are thinking, I need a bike to get through the snow outside. I need to buy something I'm going to store and not use for a while. So market gets flooded with bikes, on these marketplaces, and no one's really there to buy them. If you wait a few months, come springtime, people are getting excited about the weather. Like, wow, I want to be outside. I want to get in better shape. Maybe I want to start riding a bike. So you have this big amount of people, they're going and looking for bikes, and there's not that many for sale at this point. People are having to pay a premium. They're excited. They don't care. They're like, whatever, take my money. It's going to be worth it. So people pay a lot at that point. So what you could do if you were going to sell your bike is you would just suck it up, hold on to it, let it take space in your garage, and you go sell when other people want to buy. Another thing you could do is flip all this on its head. You could be one who's going to buy it when people are desperate to sell in the winter. So you buy a bunch of bikes, and then, come springtime when you got a bunch of buyers, you sell those bikes off and you can make some money off of those. So that's the basic principle you want to follow with any asset, is you want to understand that seasonality. And maybe it's not as obvious as winter and summer, but what is obvious, and especially as you learn about it over time, is there's seasonality to market sentiment. There's seasonality to emotions. And what we can teach you is how to read that as clear as like summer and winter. You start to get a sense of when the market's overheated, when people are too excited about something, or on the flip side, where people are getting too scared of it, but it is something that has long-term value. As you get used to these market cycles, you can begin to start selling and buying in different phases, and you will do well in the markets. You will act more like that financial professional that we were talking about, and less like a retailer. So to really drive this home, we're going to talk about 3 traps. These are 3 market traps that people fall into. There are more, but we're going to focus on 3 here. And I can almost guarantee you, if you've been in the crypto markets or you've been in financial markets long enough, you've probably fallen for at least one of these. And I think peeling back and looking at why these work, what's really happening behind the scenes, will help A, drive these points home, but B, help you watch for them in the future, and C, help you avoid them and get on the flip side of things and really approach this like a professional instead of the amateur. All right.